where we begin tonight is with a weird thing that we discovered today in the C-SPAN online archives. Back in 2002, when the Senate was debating whether to give President Bush authorization to go to war in Iraq, Democratic Senator Mark Dayton of Minnesota delivered an impassioned speech against the war, against giving President Bush authorization to use force. And then something happened toward the end of his next appearance on the Senate floor.
And I'm not a legal scholar, but I cited in making my comments, the opinion of the counsel at the Library of Congress, the Congressional Research Service, which
it just goes to black. This is the C-SPAN archives. That never happens. It just goes to black, drops out. Now, we know from the transcript that the video feed does come back. We're guessing sort of a minute or so later.
How much time do I have?
The senator has 29 minutes and 20 seconds.
How many minutes?
29.
I thank the chair.
So that's where it picks up. But there is this gap of about a minute that's just gone. Both audio and video gone from the C-SPAN archives. Now, we know what happened during that gap because we have the written congressional record from that day. Do you want to know what happened during that phantom minute or so that's gone? Well, Senator Mark Dayton is making his case against the war, and he runs out of time. He asks for an additional 30 seconds to finish his remarks, and Senator John McCain says, no, you cannot have an additional 30 seconds. Now, specifically, here's how it goes. I can't.
Hello.
Okay, so I'll be Mark Dayton and you be John McCain.
Okay.
So Mark Dayton says, I ask for unanimous consent that I have 30 seconds more to finish my remarks.
I object.
Thank you. Cheers. So that's what it says happens in the transcript, but it's not on the tape. So is this 1/18th of an 18-minute Nixon-Rosemary Woods gap? I don't know. We have no idea why there is this gap in the archives. Why does it matter? It matters because John McCain, for the last 2 days, has been publicly outraged over the fact that Democrats are also now objecting to any senator getting any extra time on anything so that senators can keep on track with a crazy schedule to get health reform voted on by Christmas. Here was Joe Lieberman having that whip cracked on him by Al Franken.
Will provide an opportunity for broad savings in health care and health insurance for pretty much everybody in our country.
The senator has spoken for 10 minutes.
I wonder if I could ask unanimous consent for just an additional moment.
In my capacity as senator from Minnesota, I object.
Really? Oh, okay. Don't take it personally.
Sorry, not a minute to spare. We're on a schedule here, nothing personal. Here was Senator John Cornyn having that same whip cracked on him by Senator Mark Begich of Alaska.
Well, Americans know that this is going to make an unsustainable status quo even worse. Yet the president and the majority...
Senator, your time has expired.
Mr. President, I'd ask unanimous consent for an additional 2 minutes.
In my capacity as a senator from Alaska, I object.
I thank the senator for his courtesy.
Same deal. No time to spare, nothing personal. And here's how Senator Mark Dayton, you shall have no more time, John McCain, reacted to these developments yesterday.
I've been around here 20-some years. First time I've ever seen a member denied an extra minute or two to finish his remarks. And I must say that I don't know what's happening here in this body, but I think it's wrong. I've never seen a member denied an extra minute or so, as the chair just did.
I've never seen it happen. I've never seen it happen. He says, I would love to show you John McCain doing that exact same thing to Mark Dayton in 2002, but it's apparently gone inexplicably from the C-SPAN video archives, and we have only our lame reenactment, which I did here with Kent, of him doing exactly what he says he's never seen done in all his years in the Senate. All of this drama, conspiratorial and otherwise, is because the Democrats are in a full-on sprint right now to try to get health reform done by Christmas. Because of the anti-health reform strategy of just delaying everything over the past few weeks, Democratic Majority Leader Harry Reid is now up against it in terms of how he's going to get this bill passed in the next 6 days. Because of all sorts of Senate procedural rules, here's what we think the breakneck pace is going to look like. The schedule will convene a rare Saturday morning session tomorrow to vote on a defense funding bill at around 7:30 a.m. Once they've done with that, Harry Reid will introduce what's called his manager's amendment to the health reform bill. This is the one with all of the last-minute compromises and changes to try to get conservative votes. Surprise, surprise, Republicans are expected to make the Senate clerk read that thing out loud, every word of it. That will take probably from 6 to 8 hours on Saturday. Then on Sunday, senators will have the opportunity to make speeches for and against the health reform bill all day. Then the moment of truth will come at around 1 a.m. Monday morning, an hour after midnight Sunday night. That should be the vote to break a expected Republican filibuster. If Democrats get 60 votes on that one at 1 a.m. on Monday, late Sunday night, that's essentially game over. There will be a series of additional votes the following days to pass the bill, but really, the filibuster is the thing. 1 a.m. Monday morning is the big deal. This weekend schedule, this need to hold votes at all sorts of odd hours, led to some late-night drama last night / early this morning when the Senate reconvened at 12:01 a.m. to cast a procedural vote on the defense bill. Part of the drama included an ailing 92-year-old Robert Byrd being wheeled into the Senate chamber at 1:06 a.m. to cast his vote and then to castigate Republicans for their stalling tactics that required the late-night session.
Shame.
It's an awkward standoff, them applauding him for being there, him saying shame, shame for making him be there. Senate Democrats are going to great logistical lengths to get health reform passed by Christmas, and Senate Republicans are going to similarly great logistical lengths to stop it. They always say that parliamentary rules are based on the rules of warfare. This is when we get some visceral reminders of that. Joining us now is Democratic Senator Mark Begich of Alaska, previously seen keeping a very tight schedule in the Senate yesterday afternoon. Senator Begich, thanks very much for your time tonight.
Thank you very much. And I have to say, as I drove to the studio tonight, there's a little bit of snow starting to come, and I hope when we're in tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. it piles up about 2 feet outside and keeps us there until we're done. So, I can smell the snow in the air, and maybe there's just desserts here.
See, that's how people know that you're the senator from Alaska. When it starts to snow, you think, good news, now we'll get something done.
That's right, because now no school, no time to leave, and maybe they'll even shut down the cafeteria, so they got to stay in the chamber and get some work done. But it's going to be, we started, like you said, early this morning at 1 a.m., one of our first votes at 1:01, and my attitude is the shenanigans they're playing are just outrageous. Even without the majority making that decision of limiting people to 10 minutes, I might have just done it because I'm fed up, to be very frank with you. And it's not what I came to Washington, D.C. about. I came here to do business, get the business done for this country, and here we are on a defense bill, which in the past has never had a problem based on what I've seen and what I've studied in the years past, and yet they're using it and using our soldiers as basically a pawn in their political game, which is outrageous, and I think it's a total disrespect to our military.
Well, just to be clear, on this defense bill, we've been thinking about this as a fight over health reform, but what happened last night, the reason that Senator Byrd was getting wheeled into the chamber after midnight last night, am I right to say it's because Republicans were filibustering the funding for the troops? They're filibustering the defense funding bill?
You are absolutely right. I mean, we received a letter yesterday, both our caucus as well as the Republican caucus, the minority caucus, from Secretary Gates indicating by midnight tonight if we are unable to fund the military, both the folks that are fighting the war, and we can argue over if the war is good or bad, but the fact is we got soldiers on the front line. We have families that are at home that need their services, that support them, and as well as everything else with our defense. And last night was the vote to break the filibuster, to move forward. The reality was we had only 3 Republicans join us. And then after that vote, Senator Durbin, the majority whip, asked a very simple thing, to get an agreement to just vote right then and be done so we can move on to health care. And it's interesting, the Republican minority had a press conference today, and they said, oh, yes, this thing will pass, the defense bill. But what they've done, which I think is just outrageous, and the American people should be outraged, as you saw with Senator Byrd, calling them and shaming them, and that is they're using them as the pawn in their game, more of these parlor tricks that they have up their sleeves. And the people who are put on the front lines to defend this country are the ones being used by the Republicans as a pawn in their political games. And if you think about it, Rachel, it's funny to think about that they claim they want to offer amendments on the health care. They want to debate health care. Great. Let's sew up and be done with the defense bill and put the health care bill on the table. And let's see what their plan is, which they have yet to show us. And let's get on with the show.